Hello, welcome to my channel, Edible Thoughts Makes. My name is Stephanie, and today I have a little episode for you. I wanted to talk about the hot water bottle cover and a hot water bottle, or what is one. So this right here is a hot water bottle. It is made out of a natural rubber, and the top has this screw closure, and the water goes inside of it. And I don't know about you, but I don't like the feeling of this necessarily on my skin. It is, well, very rubbery, right? As you can imagine. And so you can make a cover for it. And I have a cover here that I have made. And I also wanted to just briefly share with you how you get this water bottle into this cover. I have had people ask, how are you supposed to put this in this? And so I just thought I would demonstrate real quick. I wanted to share with you a flashback to little me. I distinctly remember, or maybe it's from a photograph that I've conjured up this memory. I remember having something like a hot water bottle maybe strapped to my back, and then I was wearing a green mohair vest on top of that. So my mom is or was a knitter. She doesn't knit anymore, but she has said that she's made me this green mohair vest when I was a kid. And then whenever we are sick, my mom wants to make sure that we stay warm. And as a child, you're probably not going to just sit in one spot with a hot water bottle sitting on you. And so I guess she devised some way to strap it to me and then put a vest on top so that I wouldn't notice. I don't know, probably all just to keep my core warm. And here we are wearing a hand knit vest that I made, and I'm talking about a hot water bottle. I guess we have come full circle. Now, I will mention some safety things that have to do with a hot water bottle. I have the piece of paper here that came with the hot water bottle, so there are safety guidelines on here that I will just briefly mention in case you are not familiar with hot water bottles. This hot water bottle was provided to me from Pearl Soho. It is a new item on their website. This super cozy hot water bottle cover I knit using the free Pearl Soho pattern Warm Wishes hot water bottle cover. This one is knit from the top down to the bottom, and you only need one needle size. It is written for magic loop. You use a US 6 or 4 millimeter needle, and I think I chose a 32, no, I used a 40-inch cable just to make it easy for going around and it wouldn't get too tight in the loop part. If you magic loop, you may know what I'm talking about. If you don't magic loop, well, the instructions on the pattern are very clear, and you can always contact customer service if you have any questions. They always have a real person answering your questions. So you start on the top, you have this really cute little rolled cuff, and then you start into this ribbing, which is centered. And then once you are done with this top section, you go into these increases, and they come out from the ribbing section. And then you just knit even, meaning no increases, no decreases, until you get to the length it tells you to, and then you do a set of decreases along the bottom. Now don't look too closely at my decreases, because I think I kind of spaced out and forgot what I was doing, and I didn't do them at the right time for where my markers were placed. The instructions are very clear. I just forgot what I was doing, and I did not want to go back and fix it. So I did end up with the correct number of stitches at the bottom to graft the two sides together, but I did not make very tidy decreases. I think this one is right. So I'll show you this one over here. The pattern is written for it to be all in one color, but I was using yarn left over from two previous projects. I'll pop a photo of them here on the screen so you can see the cowls that I had made. They are both using the Pearl Soho Note yarn, which is an 80-20 extra fine merino baby alpaca blend. It comes in 200 yards for 100 grams, and it is non-superwash. So because it is non-superwash, I probably wouldn't use this yarn to gift, but I have made this one for myself, and it is so cozy and soft. The colors I have used are raw sienna, which is this brown on top, and then I went into pink sunrise, and then I went into vintage celadon for the bottom stripes. The way I did it is I think I had 3 rounds in the raw sienna after the cuff, And then I went into 8 rounds of the pink, 3 rounds of raw sienna, and so on and so forth. So there's 3 chunks of the pink and 3 chunks of the blue, and each of them are divided up with 3 rounds of the raw sienna. And then because the color change is on the side and it's a hot water bottle cover, any jogs in the stripes don't bother me at all, but I will show you what it looks like on the side. There are different ways to minimize jogs in stripes, but honestly, it doesn't bother me, so I just don't do anything about it. And I might tighten it slightly on the sides, but otherwise I really don't mess with it. I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. So initially I was carrying my yarn throughout, so just twisting it as I go to make sure there's no hole. And then I decided I didn't want to do that, so I cut it here and then just wove in the ends. I don't know why I decided to do either one. That's just what I did. And it's on the inside and will likely felt over time. I ended up using 29 grams of the raw sienna and about 18 grams of the pink and 18 grams of the blue, totaling to about 66 grams, which came out to be about 131 yards of this DK-ish weight yarn. So how in the world do you get this hot water bottle into this cover? I will show you. Basically, you fold it into thirds, and then you're going to insert it into this top section. Just kind of shimmy it down or shimmy the cover up, whichever direction. And then you can let it unfold once you get it past this neck portion. And you'll get the shoulders to go in to the shaping section of the cover. And there you go. You do not want to try to put it in the cover when there's water in it. It just won't work very well. I don't recommend it. So definitely make sure it is empty before you try folding it up and putting it in here. But now that it's in here, you can unscrew the top and fill it with hot water till about 2/3 of the way full. It is recommended not to use boiling water for safety reasons so you don't accidentally spill and scald yourself. So not boiling, and then 2/3 full. And then you want to try to expel some of the air out. So how I do it is I kind of gently press until I see the water come up to the top. And then while kind of holding that down, I screw it back on tightly. And then over a sink, I'll just kind of shake it to make sure no water comes out. And I think that is it. So this is future editing Stephanie here. I forgot to discuss how to take the water bottle out of the cover. So when it is empty and drained, I just stick my hand in here and I fold it back into thirds like I did when I was putting it in. It can be a little tricky, but then it'll just slide right out of the top. That's it. It is not recommended to sit or lie on the hot water bottle, which would give extra pressure pushing on it. So that's not recommended. It's also not recommended to leave it on contact on your body in any one area for more than 20 minutes. But I feel like that might just depend on how hot your hot water is in the water bottle and just personal preference maybe. I don't know. I'm just reading you the guidelines to make sure you know what to expect. I think that is everything I wanted to share with you about this hot water bottle. I just love it. It works great for those cold days. I'll tuck it into my kids' bed to warm it up before they get into bed at night. It gets very cold here in the winter, and so just having that little extra snuggly feel in your bed before you have to jump into it can feel so nice. It's also great if you are sitting and reading or knitting and you just want something kind of cozy to hold on to or in your lap. And if you're not feeling well, maybe you have a stomach ache or cramps, this hot water bottle can act like a heating pad. And then when we're done with it here, I usually use it to water the plants. And so then I will just let it sit upside down to let the water drain out, let it kind of air out before we use it for the next time. I think that is everything I have to share with you about this hot water bottle and its cover. If it is something that has been mystifying you, hopefully I demystified it a little bit. If you have made a cover for your hot water bottle, maybe you want to share the pattern below that you have used so you can inspire other people to make something similar. I did kind of color blocking striping in mind, you can definitely do color work. There are lots of patterns out there that have the color work charts already provided, but you can certainly plug and play your own into this blank canvas. You can monogram it, you could do scrappy versions and make it all marled. I had made a separate one from a different pattern here that I held a highly variegated yarn double to break up some of the pooling. It's still pooled anyway, but the color variance is more distributed. This is a Malabrigo sock yarn in the colorway Arco Iris. I believe that means rainbow. And this pattern is knit from the bottom up, and this is a maker free pattern. This one is also knit on a US 6 4mm, but the ribbing part is done, I believe, on a US 4, which is a 3.5mm needle. So this one, the construction is slightly different, and the pattern actually comes with instructions for knitting it flat and then seaming it or knitting the whole thing in the round. So again, this one is done bottom up, and then this one here is knit top down. So those are the two patterns that I have used so far. I really like them, and so I plan on doing more of these. I actually have another one on the needles for this top down version currently with sock yarn held double. So that is everything I have to share with you about hot water bottles and their covers. Cheers to being creative, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.